Dear all, I welcome you to my first English video on the subject very relevant to the society. Well, we are all aware that recently there is a disturbing trend in the society where we see the youngsters immediately commit suicide as soon as something happens in their life. Maybe it's a financial loss, or it is some kind of a problem in the family, or kind of a relationship problems, but they don't wait for some more time. They go to the brink of life and tend to commit suicide. And some of them we have seen. Sushant Singh Rajput, when he was in the limelight of his career, he extinguished his life by suicide. And recently we have seen Siddharth, who is the CEO of the Coffee Day. He committed suicide by jumping into the river. And we have recently the death of Anita's who died because of their failure in NEET examination. And recently we have come across a small screen actress by name is Chitra, and she committed suicide. And it's very difficult to find out what drives these people to the brink of ending or extinguishing their life. That's very important matter to be discussed today, because it is facing very ugly, because we cannot afford to lose the talented youth in this country, because they form the crux of the future development. How can we afford to lose them? Then we need to retrospect on this issue. When we do retrospect on this issue, I think it is we'll have to find out what makes them to do this. The most important thing is that recent study has shown that this kind of a depression is more among the people in India, and there are a lot of people who commit such kind of a things. Suicide in India has been increased. I don't want to go deep into the subject, but the point here is either because of lack of emotional balance, either because they lack emotional intelligence. It may be part, but essentially what we'll find is there is an anxiety factor, there is a fear factor, and there is what is known as depression. Anxiety, depression, fear, and hyperactivity. And besides, we'll see there is the feeling that everything should come in their own way. Anything goes wrong, immediately they take a decision that suicide is the only solution to end this problem. I think this is not at all correct. Small butterfly effect somewhere, it creates ripples in the minds of the people who ultimately go and commit suicide. But this is very difficult. There is hardly any awareness today in our society relating to what is known as a mental health. The mental health, besides we read physical health, we read about the physiology, but the mind is very important. The mental health is something which has been ignored by all the segments of society, where we be the government or the society or the individuals. We are the three stakeholders in this regard. We all of us have to educate or sensitize ourselves in this regard, because the idea is not sensitizing and not sensationalizing. Well, the idea here is a person who has got some kind of a depression should normally be able to access, just like when we have a bout of fever, we'll be free to approach a physician for treatment. Similarly, when we have some pain, we approach a physiotherapist for a session to relieve our pain. But do we do the same thing if it happens with regard to a little depression? Because the depressions are not going to continue. It may be because of a death, it may be because of a failure, it may be because of some loss of money, whatever it may be the reason. It should be. In abroad, I've seen people talking about burning out, and they always say mood changes, everything depression, everything they don't classify as a taboo. But because the companies employ people who will be able to find out this, and the psychiatrists will give them a treatment where there's nothing but a counseling, sit down and talk to them, so take their whatever is there in the heart out once it is over. And I have come across where the company grants them leave so that he can visit he can go to a jungle, the wildlife refuges, or a small mountain, and he can spend his whatever he chases his passion along with the members of his family, where he comes clean back. And there is no stigma attached to it. Whereas in India, the youngsters, they get afraid that there is going to be a stigma. Who is giving the stigma? Maybe, perhaps, the older generation normally tend to think the younger generations are very, very possessive. They are all very active. They want everything to them. But we should not forget they are not living in the generation we live, rather these generations living in a highly cutthroat competition, and every stage they see the life so volatile. So naturally we need to sympathize with them rather than criticize them. Nobody, if anybody is having any problem, we should not brandish them as mentally ill, and that's absolutely incorrect to do that. So what is the issue that ultimately we need to do? We should treat them as a normal person. If you come across any such person, please give him a pleasantry. Please talk to him. Please tell him that everything is normal in life, and you don't give advices, but tell them in their own way so that they'll come out. And let the government create more infrastructure with regard to the mental health. Let there be more psychiatrists and psychologists sitting in a hospital, and easily one can approach them as we approach a physician, as I said, so that they can find a solution once for all for their this thing. And once they come out of this, I think this tendency of suicide will definitely go out. And before it takes over, I think all the three segments, stakeholders, government, society, and we should be able to get things very fast. Well, friends, the solution lies in creating mental health. As I said, the future is going to be more and more challenging. We don't want to lose our young, talented people because they are not able to achieve something. We should tell them, because more idea is that there are pitfalls in life. There are always failures in life. There are always losses in relationship problems. Then they'll be able to recover back. But this is the kind of idea that should put them where the society, they should feel, should be able to accept them as normal. It's a family, near family, or it is a relative, or it is we, the society as a whole, should be able to do it. I think we discussed a very important issue of the day, and thanks for watching.